So I don't want to mention something that will now drag me into the controversy of Benin and Lagos. But I cannot help but saying that at least it is in history books that Benin founded Lagos. But when some people will hear it now, they go haywire and say, what is the Oba saying there again? But it is true. Maybe the nucleus of Lagos was founded by my ancestors.
Guys, it don't scatter everywhere on social media. Where are those people claiming that Lagos belongs to them? You should come and hear what Oba of Benin has revealed to Nigerians, saying that Benin people founded Lagos. This has triggered a lot of reaction on social media. Ethnic and religious bigotry during the election should come and hear what the Oba of Benin is saying. This has rendered a lot of people in shock as we speak. Make una watch the video and hear the truth from the horse's mouth, because Rufai has come out to put his mouth in this issue as usual.
But you know, a lot of people have talked about the fact that the Oba's visit, saying that, you know, Tinubu was ordained by God. I don't know if he might be in the position to talk about that. While I disagree, the Oba's visit also elicited other commentaries, one of which was that Lagos was built by the people of Benin, a statement that has generated controversy in Nigeria, both in the past and currently.
I don't want to mention something that will now drag me into the controversy of Benin and Lagos. But I cannot help but saying that at least it is in history books that Benin founded Lagos. But when some people will hear it now, they go haywire and say, what is the Oba saying there again? But it is true. Go and check out the records. Maybe not all over Lagos as we know it now, but certain area in Lagos, maybe the nucleus of Lagos was founded by my ancestors. The Oba of Lagos will say so. I'm sure you know that he will always emphasize that he comes from Benin. Everybody knows. But the source of Lagos is Benin, whether any of you here he likes it or not. He likes to hear.
Well, a little bit of history there, more history. I mean, It is the truth. A lot of people know this, but I mean, it's good that he's coming out again to say it. If you recall, during the election time, that whole story about Lagos is no man land. I think that, you know, his statement there puts a lot to rest in that regard.
This was what I said during the election time that went viral. Let me quote what the Oba of Lagos said in an interview in 2017 that says from the Guardian that said Lagos Oba traces origin to Benin. They said, but last week in Lagos, the Oba said Lagos State is not part of Yoruba land. According to a statement from Igaidugono, the palace of the Lagos Oba, Oba Akiolu was quoted as saying, I was told by my late maternal grandmother, who was a descendant of Oba of Vunware Egweasi, with facts from historical book, and let me share the knowledge with you. Modern-day Lagos was founded by Prince Ado, son of Oba of Benin. Prince Ado was the first Oba of Lagos, and it was then named the town Eko until the Portuguese explorer Rui de Segura changed the maritime term to Lagos, which at that time, from 1942, was a Portuguese expedition. So I think Dr. Abati has even stated the history. These were the things I talked about in a piece that a lot of people kept on. You see, even those that are claiming to be Lagosians, a lot of them are not Lagosians. Because of political expediency, they now start to claim Lagos. The true Lagosians know each other. So on that score, the Oba was right. And that's why we always read history. Because somebody took paper, you know, wrote articles abusing me and saying all sorts, just because I recounted the history that in the history book has been reiterated. And the Oba of Lagos reiterated that again. Yeah. The part that he said that is God, I know. our political system gets our leaders. Let's not put God into this at all. I don't like when we put that narrative in. No, our political system throws up our leaders. So what are we going to say about the judgments? A lot of people have been complaining. Is it God that is in the Supreme Court? Is it God that is in the appeal court? Is it God that makes all those judgments? Yeah. Is he also God that put the clerical error in Kanu judgments? Let's just leave God out of our... Except Nigerians learn to understand that participation in the political process is what heralds leaders. And if you don't participate, if you continue to be indifferent, you get the kind of leaders you get. If you don't understand that, then the country doesn't move forward. Because even in the last election, Oji, I need to say this importantly as a wrap-up, that a lot of Nigerians are saying Nigerians came out to vote. Nigerians didn't come out to vote in these last elections. Let's not deceive ourselves. Voter apathy was still very high. For a country with over 80 to 90 million voters, less than 30 to 40 million people decided who was president. Right. Well, and that's still very low. Until we have something like other countries where you have over 65, 70% voters, we can't build this country. So stop being indifferent. Come out and make your voices heard. Right. That's all I'm going to say.
Rufai, you made a lot of points. And, while I agree with you, the Oba, who, is a monarch, is also a Nigerian citizen and has his own opinion. And, if he says it's God that ordained Tinubu, that is his opinion, right? Yeah. But also, Dr. Abati, I love the fact that the Lagos State governor took him to that Yoruba museum, and then, they had that type of cultural interaction between the people of Benin and, the people of Lagos. I think it's another feat for the Lagos State government. I mean, that museum is not fully open, but, when it's open, it'll be a nice addition to the cultural landscape.
It's a very good thing, good optics.
Yes.
Knowing that the Oba himself, is somebody who has a very strong interest in the preservation of culture and monuments and museums, and retrieving stolen artifacts and giving our culture a pride of place. On the point that he made about Benin having founded Lagos, well, when Mr. Feni was on the program, he said, look, at a time, the Benin Kingdom stretched all the way to the Republic of Benin, the great Benin Empire. It was an empire, just like the Oyo Empire in those days. And earlier on, I tried to give a bit of history, as told by the present Oba of Lagos himself, about Prince Ado, who was the first king in 1630, and then how there's that connection. And that's the point that the Oba of Benin was making. That, look, this is like coming home for him, more or less. But, people are very emotional about history. One fellow I see has quickly written a piece about me saying I should not give a history lecture on Lagos. Well, I wasn't giving a history lecture. People should not project their own illiteracy, because I found the reaction by the person, very abusive. He said, I said Prince Ado married Erelu Kuti. Where Erelu Kuti, he has correctly pointed out, is the daughter of Prince Ado, and truly the mother of Ologun Kutere, who later also became king. But people should learn not to be emotional, okay? When you say Lagos belongs to all of us, Lagos is the most cosmopolitan center, nobody is taking Lagos away from the Lagosians. So I found the emotionalism of some characters who call themselves indigenous persons, even when the Eleko himself does not react, emotionally like that to bits of history. They should learn and try to speak like educated people. That's one. The point that the Oba of Benin made about, Tinubu being ordained by God. The Oba of Benin, kings, are also spiritual beings within their community. And, the Benis, their monarch is highly revered. It's not just the king, it's also the spiritual head. And it's also like, some people from certain parts of the country, when anything happens for religious reasons, they say, oh, it is the will of God. I think it's in that context, that the Oba of Benin was speaking, not in a political sense. So if he says, well, only what God wants happens, I don't think that is a wrong thing to say. But other people who are not so religious, they have different views.
Absolutely.
So let all flowers bloom. Let all views flourish.
Well said. Well, still in Lagos State, as the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources continued its demolition exercise of houses built in contravention of the Lagos Master Plan, Many residents in Abule Ado area of the state were displaced over the exercise of houses built in contravention of the Lagos Master Plan. Many residents in Abule Ado area.
Let all views flourish.
Well said.